In today's unpredictable economic climate, having a safety net for unexpected expenses is crucial. That's where an adequate emergency fund comes into play, providing a much-needed boost to your financial security. Whether it's a sudden medical expense, a car repair, or an unexpected job loss, having extra funds readily available can make all the difference. But what exactly is an emergency fund, and why is it so important? Well, think of it as a financial cushion that gives you peace of mind knowing that you have money set aside for unforeseen circumstances. It's like having a backup plan for life's curveballs. In this video, we'll explore the importance of having an adequate emergency fund and how it safeguards your future. We'll delve into the ideal amount you should save, strategies for building your emergency fund, and tips for effectively managing it. By the end, you'll understand why having an emergency fund is not just an option but a necessity for your financial well-being. The importance of an emergency fund. Life is full of unexpected events and expenses. From sudden medical emergencies to unexpected car repairs, these unforeseen circumstances can wreak havoc on your finances if you're not prepared. That's where an emergency fund comes in handy. An emergency fund acts as a financial safety net, providing you with a buffer against unexpected expenses. It gives you the peace of mind knowing that you have money set aside to handle any curveballs life throws your way. By having an emergency fund, you won't have to rely on credit cards or loans to cover unexpected expenses, which can lead to debt accumulation and financial stress. Not only does an emergency fund provide financial security, but it also offers emotional security. Knowing that you have a safety net in place allows you to navigate through challenging times with confidence and peace of mind. It gives you the freedom to focus on finding solutions rather than worrying about how to cover the immediate costs. Building an emergency fund should be a top priority for everyone, regardless of income level or financial goals. It's a fundamental step towards achieving financial stability and safeguarding your future. How an emergency fund boosts financial security. An adequate emergency fund plays a vital role in boosting your overall financial security. It serves as a buffer against unexpected expenses and helps you maintain financial stability, even during challenging times. Here are a few ways an emergency fund can enhance your financial security. Protects against debt. One of the biggest advantages of having an emergency fund is that it protects you from accumulating debt. When faced with an unexpected expense, many people turn to credit cards or loans to cover the costs. However, relying on credit can lead to high interest rates and a cycle of debt. With an emergency fund, you can avoid going into debt and maintain financial independence. Provides peace of mind. Financial stress can take a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. By having an emergency fund, you gain peace of mind knowing that you have a safety net to fall back on. It allows you to face unexpected challenges with confidence, knowing that you are financially prepared to handle them. This peace of mind can positively impact your overall quality of life. Creates financial flexibility. An emergency fund provides you with financial flexibility, allowing you to make decisions based on your long-term goals rather than short-term financial constraints. With a well-funded emergency fund, you can seize opportunities, take calculated risks, and make decisions that align with your values and aspirations. Reduces reliance on external support. In times of crisis, having an emergency fund reduces your dependence on external support, such as government assistance, loans from family and friends, or charity. While it's important to have a support system, having your own emergency fund gives you a sense of self-reliance and financial independence. By boosting your financial security, an adequate emergency fund empowers you to navigate through life's uncertainties with confidence and resilience. Determining the right amount for your emergency fund. Now that we understand the importance of having an emergency fund, the next question is, how much should you save? While there is no one-size-fits-all answer, there are some guidelines you can follow to determine the right amount for your emergency fund. Start with a basic goal. As a general rule of thumb, aim to save at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. This should cover essential costs such as rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transportation, and insurance. If you have dependents or an unstable job situation, consider saving between 6 to 12 months' worth of living expenses. Assess your personal circumstances. While the 3 to 6 months guideline is a good starting point, it's essential to consider your specific circumstances. Factors such as job stability, income level, and health conditions can influence how much you should save. If you're self-employed or have a regular income, you may want to save more to account for potential fluctuations. Consider your lifestyle. Take into account your lifestyle and spending habits when determining the right amount for your emergency fund. If you have high monthly expenses or significant financial obligations, you may need to save more to ensure you can comfortably cover unexpected expenses. Evaluate your risk tolerance. Your risk tolerance also plays a role in determining the size of your emergency fund. If you're more risk-averse or have a higher likelihood of facing unexpected expenses, you may want to save a larger amount to provide a greater cushion. Remember that determining the right amount for your emergency fund is a personal decision. It's important to assess your unique circumstances and financial goals to find a balance that works for you. Tips for building an emergency fund. Building an emergency fund requires discipline, commitment, and a solid savings strategy. Here are some tips to help you get started and stay on track. Set a savings goal. Determine how much you want to save for your emergency fund and set a specific savings goal. Having a target in mind will motivate you to stay focused and committed to building your fund. Create a budget. A budget is a powerful tool that helps you track your income and expenses. It allows you to identify areas where you can cut back and allocate more towards your emergency fund. Review your budget regularly and make adjustments as needed to maximize your savings. Automate your savings. Take advantage of automation by setting up automatic transfers from your primary checking account to your emergency fund. By automating your savings, you ensure that a portion of your income goes directly towards building your fund without any effort on your part. Cut unnecessary expenses. Review your spending habits and identify areas where you can cut back. Consider reducing discretionary expenses such as eating out, entertainment, or subscription services. Redirect the money saved towards your emergency fund. Increase your income. Look for opportunities to increase your income, such as taking on a side gig or freelancing. The extra income can be directed towards your emergency fund, helping you reach your savings goal faster. Save windfalls and bonuses. Whenever you receive unexpected income, such as tax refunds, bonuses, or cash gifts, resist the temptation to splurge. Instead, save a portion or the entire amount towards your emergency fund. These windfalls can significantly boost your savings progress. Stay motivated. Building an emergency fund is a long-term commitment. Stay motivated by reminding yourself of the benefits it brings, such as financial security and peace of mind. Celebrate milestones along the way to keep your motivation high. By implementing these tips, you'll be well on your way to building a solid emergency fund that provides the financial security you need. Where to keep your emergency fund? Once you've started building your emergency fund, it's essential to keep it in a safe and easily accessible place. Here are a few options to consider. High-yield savings account. A high-yield savings account is a popular choice for an emergency fund. These accounts offer higher interest rates than traditional savings accounts, allowing your money to grow over time. They also provide easy access to your funds when needed. Money market account. Similar to a high-yield savings account, a money market account offers competitive interest rates and easy access to your funds. They often come with check writing privileges, making it convenient to withdraw money when an emergency arises. Certificates of deposit, CDs. CDs offer higher interest rates than regular savings accounts. However, they come with specific terms and withdrawal restrictions. Consider using CDs for a portion of your emergency fund if you're confident that you won't need immediate access to the funds. Cash equivalents. If you're concerned about the stability of financial institutions, you may opt for cash equivalents such as treasury bills or money market funds. These investments offer a higher level of security but may have slightly lower returns. When choosing where to keep your emergency fund, consider factors such as accessibility, interest rates, and your risk tolerance. It's crucial to strike a balance between safety and growth to ensure your funds are readily available when you need them. Common mistakes to avoid when building an emergency fund. While building an emergency fund is a crucial step towards financial security, there are common mistakes to avoid. By being aware of these pitfalls, you can stay on track and make the most of your savings efforts. Not prioritizing your emergency fund. It's easy to put off building an emergency fund when other financial goals and expenses take priority. However, delaying the process leaves you vulnerable to unexpected expenses. Make building your emergency fund a top priority to ensure you have a safety net in place. Dipping into your emergency fund for non-emergencies. Your emergency fund should be reserved for true emergencies, not discretionary expenses or impulsive purchases. It's important to maintain the integrity of your fund and resist the temptation to use it for non-essential purposes. Underestimating your savings goal. It's better to err on the side of saving more than less. Underestimating your savings goal can leave you vulnerable to unexpected expenses that exceed your fund's capacity. Regularly reassess your savings goal and adjust it as necessary to ensure you're adequately prepared. Not replenishing your fund. When you use your emergency fund for an unexpected expense, make it a priority to replenish the funds as soon as possible. Failure to do so leaves you exposed and unprepared for future emergencies. Treat your emergency fund as an ongoing commitment and continue saving even after using it. Neglecting to review and adjust your fund. Your financial circumstances and expenses may change over time. It's essential to review and adjust your emergency fund as needed to ensure it remains adequate. Regularly assess your living expenses, income level, and financial goals to determine if any adjustments are necessary. By avoiding these common mistakes, you can ensure that your emergency fund remains strong and ready to support you when unexpected expenses arise. How to use your emergency fund effectively. Having an emergency fund is only half the battle. Using it effectively is equally important. Here are some guidelines for utilizing your emergency fund in a responsible and strategic manner. Define what constitutes an emergency. Before dipping into your emergency fund, define what qualifies as an emergency. Medical emergencies, unexpected job loss, or major home repairs are examples of situations that may warrant the use of your fund. Avoid using it for discretionary expenses or non-essential purchases. Prioritize essential expenses. When faced with an emergency, prioritize essential expenses that directly impact your well-being and livelihood. This includes necessities such as housing, utilities, food, and healthcare. By focusing on these expenses first, you can ensure that your basic needs are met during challenging times. Minimize unnecessary spending. During an emergency, it's crucial to cut back on unnecessary spending. Evaluate your current expenses and identify areas where you can reduce or eliminate discretionary spending. By temporarily tightening your budget, you can stretch your emergency fund further. Explore alternative options. Before using your emergency fund, explore alternative options for covering the expense. For example, you may be eligible for unemployment benefits, insurance coverage, or payment plans. Exhaust all available resources before tapping into your fund to preserve its longevity. Replenish your fund. After using your emergency fund, make it a priority to replenish the funds as soon as possible. Set a timeline and savings goal for replenishing your fund, ensuring that you're prepared for future emergencies. Consider automating your savings to ensure consistent contributions. By using your emergency fund strategically and responsibly, you can maximize its impact and ensure its long-term sustainability. Emergency fund success stories. To further illustrate the importance of having an emergency fund, let's explore a few success stories of individuals who were grateful to have their financial safety nets in place. Samantha's medical emergency. Samantha, a young professional, experienced a sudden medical emergency that required surgery and an extended recovery period. Thanks to her well-funded emergency fund, she was able to cover the medical expenses and maintain her financial stability during her recovery. John's job loss. John, a middle-aged professional, unexpectedly lost his job due to company downsizing. With a robust emergency fund, he was able to meet his financial obligations, cover daily expenses, and search for a new job without the added stress of financial instability. Emily's home repair. Emily, a homeowner, faced a major plumbing issue that required immediate repairs. Her emergency fund allowed her to address the problem promptly, preventing further damage and the need for additional costly repairs. These success stories highlight the transformative power of an adequate emergency fund. They show how having a financial safety net can make all the difference during unexpected and challenging times. Resources for managing and growing your emergency fund. Managing and growing your emergency fund requires knowledge and discipline. Fortunately, there are several resources available to help you along the way. Personal finance books. Many personal finance books offer valuable insights and strategies for building an emergency fund. Look for titles such as The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach, or I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Financial apps. There are numerous financial apps available that can help you track your expenses, set savings goals, and automate your savings. Popular apps include Mint, YNAB, You Need a Budget, and Acorns. Online communities. Joining online communities focused on personal finance can provide support, motivation, and valuable tips for building and managing your emergency fund.